Hello friends, it's Terry here. Thank you so much for stopping by. For today's project, I am sharing this card that I created using the Box of the Month kit from Not Too Shabby. So let's get started. So the stamp set that I decided to use is this very cute one here. It's called Just Because. And I love the little bear so much. It's just perfect. So to start off my card, I stamped out the bear image and the little tree branch onto white cardstock. I am using an alcohol-friendly ink here. But before coloring in the image, I wanted to create my card front. Here I'm going in with this super cute paper pad, and I decided to pick out the black and white paper out of this paper pack. I really like the look of simple patterns, and this one is just perfect. It's black and white, and it's very simple, so it doesn't take away from anything else that's going on in your card. Okay, so I wanted to create a focal point onto my card front, and I decided to go with the hexagon dies from Hero Arts. And before placing that onto my pattern paper, I like using this alignment guide. This one is from Blot Shop. I like this because the material that it's made out of is very sturdy, and you could see the lines very well. I like to place it on top of whatever I'm working with. Like for instance here, I'm using the pattern paper, and I want to make sure that the die alignment is nice and straight. If you're anything like me, my alignment game is really off. So everything I make, it comes out a little wonky, and I always have to readjust. Having this alignment guide is super helpful. So the process when I'm using it is I place it on top of my pattern paper and I create a little hinge with tape. On the bottom you can see that I tape a piece of paper on the alignment guide, and I went in with a longer piece of tape to tape down the die, making sure that I'm not taping the alignment guide on the top portion of the card. After I was happy with the placement of the die, I went ahead and untaped the bottom part of the alignment guide and slid that out from underneath. Then going in with a smaller piece of tape, I secure that onto the pattern paper before running that through my die cutting machine. I know it's a little extra step, but it's so worth it. So on the second piece of white cardstock, I went ahead and stamped out another one of the tree branch. And this time I'm adding on the leaves. I'm using a green ink from Pink Fresh Studios for the leaves. What I'm creating here is this area here will be the focal point behind the hexagon die cut pattern paper that I created earlier. Now going back to the first cardstock that we stamped the bear and the tree branch onto, we're going to go in with some Copic markers to color that in. As always, I will go ahead and leave a forwarding time above, just in case if you're not interested in the coloring part, you can go ahead and forward it to that time. But if you are, I hope you enjoyed the process, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. Okay, I am back. So after I finished coloring the bear, I went in and fussy cut the image out. And I put that off to the side. So now going in and working on the background, I'm going in with the stamp cardstock from earlier, and I want to create a little more interest onto the focal point. What I want to create with this focal point is I wanted to create some shading towards the bottom of the focal point area. So this would be towards the bear. I wanted it to be a little darker on the bottom and kind of fade out into a lighter scene onto the top of the trees. Then going in with some of the clouds stamped, I inked that up with black ink and stamped that onto the area as well. I continued to place my card front onto the area just to make sure that I was getting a view of everything in the focal point that I wanted to come through. And once I was happy with that, I went in with one of the sentiments from the stamp set and stamped that onto the card panel. I will be heat embossing this, so I am going in with some clear embossing ink, and my favorite to use is Versamark ink. And I use a gold embossing powder from Brutus Monroe and heat set that with a nice hot heat tool. Okay, so going in with my die cut card front, I went in and laid that on top of the second cardstock. Here I'm going in with a pencil just to mark off the corners of the hexagon, and I'm going in with my scissors just to cut that out. I am cutting it a little larger than the marks from the pencil, just to make sure that it lays behind the card front nicely. So going in with an eraser, I am just erasing the pencil marks. Before adhering everything together, I forgot to use my gel pen. And you know how I like to add highlights and details with a nice white gel pen. And here you can see that I'm doing that to the little bear. I wanted to add a little more texture and color to my card design. So I'm going in with the polka dot yellow paper from the paper pad. And I'm using a scallop nested die from Photoplay Say It With Stamps collection. Again, everything that I use will be linked down below if you're interested. So now it's time to assemble everything together. So here are all the pieces that I need to put everything together. So with the focal point here, I'm making sure that it's lining up nicely. And I thought it was, and then somehow my hand probably shifted the paper. You will see here that the hexagon came out a little wonky. Well, I adhered it to the cardstock a little wonky. But so it was a little difficult for me to remove it off since the liquid adhesive is pretty adhered down. So I decided to go in with black cardstock, and I used my clear embossing ink, and I will be heat embossing the same sentiment onto the black cardstock with gold embossing powder. I also went in and trimmed that down, and I'm going in to cover up that wonky sentiment. And then going in with the bear, I used the bear to cover up that open area that was exposed from the card front. Then going in with some of the bumblebees from the stamp set, I fussy cut those out and adhered it onto the card front. And this completes the card. I hope you enjoyed all the little train wrecks that happen in this video and found this card tutorial useful. And please don't forget to come on down to my Instagram account at Cloudy Coral Designs to say hi. And I will see you guys next time. Have a great day. Bye-bye.